Well, hi everybody. Sorry for coming late. We have some technical issues. I should have consulted better with my daughters on how to host a TikTok live. Nice to meet you, everybody. My name is Nimrod-Avraham, and I'm the creator of God's Gang.
How did you come up with the idea?
So we already received several questions from our followers on social media, and obviously the first question is the origin, how God's Gang actually became, and the story is it's pretty random. I used to work for the Disney channels 15 years ago as a marketeer, and they just launched a new brand called JetX. And we went on a Disney executive summit in Orlando, and we had a lot of workshops trying to make Disney great. And they asked us to come with these crazy ideas on how we can differentiate ourselves. And I remember standing on stage in front of 120 Disney executives and telling them that I have two ideas. One was to fly the first kid into orbit. I really wanted to fly a kid to space. It was back in 2006, and Virgin Galactic said that they're going to be flying people to space for $100,000. So I said, well, that's a great opportunity for Disney, who's doing these great fantasy and sci-fi movies, to be involved in that. But obviously that didn't go well. So I told them, well, you just paid $5 billion for the Power Rangers. They're fighting aliens. Can you make them interfaith? And there were 120 Disney executives clapping their hands, thinking it's a wonderful idea. But I guess regulation and sensitivities and different reasons, they never pulled an interfaith Power Ranger group, thank God, literally. So I said to myself, if Disney's not going to do it, then I'll come up with a cool group of superheroes representing 4 different faiths, coming together and joining forces to save the world. So I laid out the first presentation for God's Gang, including the characters that you know as NinJew and ChrisCross and SumuSlim and TaekwonHindu. One day I will expose the early designs. That would be very funny. But I never did anything with it. I've never produced an animated series, and I knew this is a very challenging project. And I was lacking the understanding of spiritualism and understanding basically what the world is made of, why we're here, where we come from. And I went on a 15-year search. I've searched for God. And obviously the first place that you look for is religions. And I started looking into Judaism because I'm Jewish, and then I decided it's not enough. I want to see what Christianity has to say and what Islam and Hinduism and Buddhism, and it only created more curiosity to learn more. So I went on what is called the metaphysical understanding. So the Muslims, the Islam has the Sufi, and obviously Buddhism is a very great metaphysical studies of us and the universe. And I went and dived into Kabbalah and the Book of Creation, and then reading about the Sumerian scripts and many other sources for information. To find out that, what science called the Big Bang is actually the first sentence in the Bible at the beginning, and that the universe that we believe we live in is coming from a singular point, and we experience separation, and we experience ourselves from an egoic perspective, basically in some kind of a projection, but we're all interconnected. And that's already scientifically proven. We live in a quantum entanglement universe. And when you realize this, that everything is one, then you need to understand that the oneness needs to run on a very specific energy. And I was thinking what would be the best energy to fit into the oneness, and that, millions of songs has been written, and books, and many lovers have experienced it, and that obviously is the energy of love. So with that being said, we try to incorporate everything that relies on the assumption that everything is one, which obligates us to be in love. The names, many of you ask us how we became with the names, how we came up with the names. So at the early days, trying to connect the world into what will be probably one of the few attempts to create a group of interfaith heroes, we understood that we needed to incorporate what entertainment means for us. So we try to find elements that will hook up and will create some kind of even emotional bond or attachment with the characters based on their faith and the martial art. So I came up with NinJew, a Jewish ninja. Obviously we could have used Jiu-Jitsu or Judo, but we chose a ninja. SumuSlim. I grew up on this animated show that and on westerns like Bud Spencer and Terence Hill, and I wanted this big smiley guy that you think is super kind, but you don't know how strong he is. So I imagined the sumo and Islam and Slim. It went very well together. Same for TaekwonHindu. And then back then, everybody used to jump. ChrisCross is gonna make you jump. And I said, Christian, he's gonna wear a cross. He's gonna do a karate. I'm not gonna go if he's a Kyoko Shinkai or Karate Do. He's a karate master. And I grew up on the Bruce Lee movies, and obviously any of you who saw a Bruce Lee movie can understand where the inspiration comes from. Few things that we learned since we launched the pilot episode are that the four faiths that are currently presented in the show is a good start, but definitely we're going to be adding Buddhism, and we're going to be bringing atheists to the show, and other even small based religions such as Druze and Sikh. We basically want to bring to the front of the stage everybody, because what we are all about is, we're not a show about religion. We're not trying to preach to anything. We're not trying to come up with a one world religion. This is a comment that I've been used to read. It will be boring to have a one world religion. We are basically an entertainment company that wants people to come together, to unite through shared values, and the values that we believe are based on the bright side of life, which is compassion and kindness and integrity and truth and love. So no secret agendas. Also, we have nothing against science. Science is just like many other elements in our life, which are a double edge. They can be either turned into good use or bad use. So there's no specific agenda going against science or scientists, nor Scientology. Again, I think that the most important thing to understand is that we look for the things that can create a healthy society and can create and can prolong our our successful life on planet Earth. And if we don't start acting as a collective and apply compassion and realizing that, even Jesus coming with the energy of love thy neighbor, that means unconditional love. Don't judge others because of the color of the skin or their geography or the level of income. We don't care about this stuff. We care about only one thing and one thing only, and that's how beautiful the soul of a person shines when he is coming together with other people. We have no meaning to offend anyone in terms of we read a lot of stereotypes, and the show was in research and development for I'm putting aside the 15 years that it was cooking in my thoughts. We started basically redesigning the universe of God's Gang in April 21, and we realized that potentially this can be offensive for some people. So the most important thing that for us to do in order to be sensitive is, since I cannot speak enough about, as a Jew, I cannot speak enough about Judaism because I'm not a religious practitioner. We brought in an interfaith council, a dawa, which is an Islamic religion student teacher who's also an imam from time to time. He resides in a village called Baka El Garbia in Israel. And we brought in a rabbi who believes in the one and the love concept, and our pastor Brandon Jones, who's an amazing support for the group, who's just funny enough, both Brandon and Abed, our interfaith councils, used to be stand-up comedians. So how great is that, to combine fun humor and also religious studies and understandings into the show. And obviously Sanya, our Hindu consultant, is also teaching us a lot about Hinduism. And there have been many questions that coming from the audience that the Christian, Muslim, and Jew believe in basically the Abrahamic God, and Hinduism is multi-God believers. When you go and I'm not that of an expert about Hinduism, but we really went and looked for the source, and even in Hinduism they recognize that the multiple realizations of their multiple gods is coming from a one source, one creator. And obviously, since we want to be all inclusive, we do need to, not to be not okay with Hinduism because they're not a part of the Abrahamic God beliefs. And same would be for Buddhism and other religions that they're going to be joining. Again, many questions coming, especially because of what's going on right now in the world. So just in terms of timing, accuracy, quantum entanglements, interventions, etc. When we started working on God's Gang 2.5 years ago, when we restarted doing the process of creating the universe and getting ready for production, we had pandemic. Realizing that no matter where we look at TV and newspapers, when we read the newspapers and the news, everything is closing on us. There's a pandemic, there are lockdowns, climate changes is coming, the war with Russia and Ukraine, and the Chinese and the Taiwan affair. And to be honest, trying to think what we can do. I mean, we can do much when one government tells you now that you need to be in a lockdown because there's a threat, beside being love and trying to push light out. And for us, that was the mission from day one, to inspiring towards hope and to showcase almost a reality that many people can find as real. But it's not true. I have many Arab friends and I have many Christian friends, and we never see each other as oh, he's my Jewish friend or he's my Arab friend. No, we see ourselves as friends, and we are friends because we share the same beliefs and values. So with that being said, there's never a bad timing to do acts of pure good intentions, and God's Gang is all about pure intentions. And with these pure intentions, I had intended to go live with our amazing head writer, but since this is our first live broadcast, we had some technical issues on managing and onboarding other guests. I guess we're gonna be learning about TikTok more. So I can tell you that we launched the pilot episode, the 13-minute Love is in the Air Hole, in September. In less than 3 months, we're nearing a community size of about 400,000 people, which is wow. We're soon enough we're gonna have a state of God's Gang's fans. The pilot episode has been viewed by 3 million people until now in 3 months, and has been shared by tens of thousands of people. And we analyze and we read, I want to say, all comments and all feedbacks, and we take it very seriously. So we can say that the sentiment is above 85% very positive, but there is also a lot of people who didn't like it, to say the least. And that's totally fine with us. Just be kind when you give us your criticism. And be nice to other people in the community. Otherwise, you're not in the right place. So yes, God's Gang is intended to be an animated series that obviously can basically be broadcasted on television and on different online platforms. We are already in discussions with several broadcasters and streamers without disclosing any names, and trying to see what's aired now on the different platforms. I believe that the Apples and Netflix of the world are still figuring out how God's Gang is being accepted. So the more you support us, and the more people that would understand the energy that we're trying to bring, God's Gang will be growing faster. Our only agenda is to be love, and to do everything that we can in order to end the hate on this planet. Again, we are one. We're a collective. We're a collective of souls. And the only way for us to have a successful life here is really by connecting ourselves to higher frequencies and higher sources. And the only way to do that is by applying the power of love. and that's more or less, I would say, the baseline. So if I need to describe now what God's Gang is, it's a fun to watch show that should give anyone a good feeling about himself, good vibrations, be a beacon of hope. It's basically a spiritual core covered with and what we consider as very entertaining stories, action, adventure, fellowship, unity, overcoming different challenges, many snappy humor and snappy jokes that are coming in, which are a part of our day-to-day lives, and instead of looking them in a bad way, we can make fun of them, just like the dialogue at the beginning of Love is in the Air Hole about school, the madrasa, and Sunday church, etc., etc. So again, no agenda beside being love, beside commissioning out the values that we believe in, that we want to have society build on. I'm a father of 3 daughters, and that's, I would say that's the biggest challenge of my life. I'm basically creating a show for my daughters to watch, and that's a way for me to tell them what I wish for them and what kind of a world we want to live in, to be living in. And yes, it's basically the truth. So again, very nice to meet you. I'm Nimrod-Avraham from birth. And I'm the creator of God's Gang. And that's my life mission. And I want to try and push peace, light, love, values everywhere I can. I think the world needs it. I think the people in this world needs it most now. And we have no intentions on offending anyone whatsoever. I wish from the bottom of my heart that we will end wars and suffering, and I recommend you to avoid sadness. Don't watch the news, because every time I open the TV, I just go down. So we want to bring people up. And thank you for joining us, and thank you for engaging with us and believing in us. And I promise you much more to come. Also, this is the first time that we personally engage, and you're more than welcome to ask for next time what you can do to help us create more episodes, any ideas on new characters, if you have any questions. For example, before I wrap up, we used on the God's Gang van, which can fly and scuba dive, and don't want to ruin many surprises, but we used the peace sign. And universally, we thought that the peace sign is coming from nuclear disarmament, but we realized many Christians sees it as offensive. And that was not our intention, with none whatsoever. And thank you for letting us know that some found it offensive. I promise you that we're going to change it. We want to bring people together. We don't want for people to think that we're doing something which is offensive in any way. So again, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Nimrod-Avraham here. Let's bring love and light to the world. Let's be kind. Let's smile a lot. Let's laugh a lot. That's great. And whenever you feel a bit sad and that the world is closing, remember us. We're here. You can be a part of God's gang. And we barely started, so I think we have so much more to grow and to do good together, and we will do it together, all of us together. So thank you very much, and wishing us a great weekend. And I have no idea how to shut down a live broadcast so I can keep on talking. Now I think I see the button. Thank you very much.